In this episode of Meet the Suite, we're speaking with Gregg Tobin. Gregg is the CEO of Aptyx, a global CDMO in the medical device arena.
Manufacturing, complex products around the world is not trivial.
We'll be exploring Gregg's unique career trajectory through the OEM world into private equity and now as the global leader for the Aptyx business.
So having worked for a medical device OEM for such a long time, I understand the needs, the pressures, and the end markets for our customers.
We'll also talk to Gregg about the importance of delivering on promises for customers and ensuring better health outcomes for patients.
We exist to really serve our customers. We do what we say we're going to do. That's really why we're in this business, why we're in this industry. It's to save lives and make people healthier.
And we'll also look at scaling and some of the challenges associated with that in a competitive environment.
I'm incredibly proud of what my colleagues are doing around the world.
Well, hey, Gregg, always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining us on the Meet the Suite podcast. I don't know if you remember, but you were the first guest on our previous podcast about 4 years ago. So I kind of feel like we're coming a little bit full circle here, but always great to see you.
Absolutely. I agree, Gordon. It's hard to believe that it's been 4 years, and I'm excited to kind of have the sequel here and chat about what's next.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So, let's dive right into it here. Gregg, you've already kind of led Aptyx through a few different major transitions, I would say, from the rebranding of, MDI or molded devices to what the market knows today as Aptyx, and a number of acquisitions that I'm sure we're going to talk about during the course of the show here. But one question or one theme, I guess, that comes up in a lot of our conversations with other leaders in the CDMO space is really around, when you're scaling, how challenging it is to kind of unify the organization around a strategic vision, taking into account things like operations and the value proposition, and culture is certainly important as well. So I'd love to hear a little bit from your perspective how things have unfolded for Aptyx in that journey.
Yes, certainly. Great question, Gordon. And when building and scaling and bringing together, kind of new teams, new cultures, it can be challenging. But I'll start by saying I'm incredibly proud of what my colleagues are doing around the world, and our vision here at Aptyx is really, really clear. And I'll talk a little bit about that, and that's, I think, probably underpinning our success. So number one, we exist to really serve our customers. Their products are our purpose, and we're always reminding ourselves of that. We understand it's a privilege to serve our customers each and every day, and we do what we say we're going to do. We're constantly thinking about ways to improve the customer's experience with us. For me personally, I continue to push myself. I expect my team to push, to find ways to help our customers better serve their provider customers and their patients. So how do we do this? Communicate, through phone calls, through meetings, through messaging, through internal and external marketing. Communication is absolutely critical. And then, we're maniacally focused on our customer success. Everyone in the company is aware of this.
The other thing about that is kind of unique to yourself, Gregg, is really your own career history. Starting earlier in your career with GE Healthcare, kind of on the OEM side, if you like, and then going into contract manufacturing, and also having held a seat at a private equity investment firm. So quite a unique trajectory, I would say. So, how would you say that has kind of shaped your thinking in how you grow and scale a business like Aptyx?
Good question. So, couple thoughts. One, diversity and diverse experiences are incredibly powerful in my opinion. And the diversity of my experiences exposed me to, behaviors, strategies, operating models, and skills that are incredibly helpful in building and scaling a global company. I'm fortunate to have worked for one of the best global public companies that existed at the time, GE. I was able to see and experience how to scale a global, multinational company. And so having worked for a medical device OEM for such a long time, I understand the needs, the pressures, and the end markets for our customers. And these insights have enabled me to build a company that provides support to the medical device OEMs exactly where they need it. And as you know, manufacturing, complex products around the world is not trivial. We have 16 manufacturing plants around the world, all of them making different products. We make implants, delivery catheters, subassemblies for surgical robots, and breathing circuits for airway devices. And we've got to manufacture all of these products with high quality. We've got to deliver on time and with competitive pricing. And so we just we've got to be really efficient in with our operating processes. And as you know, we've used mergers and acquisitions as a strategic advantage to add strategic capabilities as needed, so that we can become relevant or be relevant to all of our customers. So how have all of these experiences shaped my thinking? I understand that we've got to be very effective in a number of areas: operations, quality, engineering, and finance. We've had to hire and train a talented team that has multidisciplinary experience, and so far we've got it right, and we're doing well.
So, one of the buzzwords in the industry is, integrated solutions, and I think really that's what the OEMs are demanding more and more from their CDMO partners, and clearly Aptyx is, taking that into account as you build your business and through all the acquisitions you've made, etc. So how do you describe what some of the kind of key differentiators are for Aptyx in a competitive market, and how do your customers experience that on a day-to-day basis?
So the integrated strategy is a critical part of our vision. First and foremost, we've got to execute for our customers. We do what we say we're going to do. We develop trust and credibility with our customers through our actions. So what are the differentiators? Quality products, on-time delivery, phenomenal engineering, and competitive pricing. And so being able to deliver that, daily, weekly, quarterly is important. It builds, trust, confidence with our customers. Our customers can expect just a fabulous experience. That's our goal. We want to deliver that to our customers. And if we don't, when we don't, we're going to fix it as quickly as possible. And so that helps really establish that trust and confidence that we're gonna do what's right for the customer. I'm constantly asking for feedback from our customers. We want to perform at the highest levels, so that our customers can objectively score us as a top supplier partner for them.
It's really interesting having that feedback loop from your customers. I think sometimes organizations will say, this is what we do. But if you have the customers saying, hey, if you, make these tweaks here and there, things will be better for us. It'd be crazy not to kind of look at that resource, I think.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm always asking customers for feedback. Even if it's not great feedback, just tell us, and let us know if we have shortcomings. We want to get better.
Aptyx has made a couple of interesting acquisitions in 2025, one being the Medical Murray site there in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then obviously the Argos acquisition in Boston. I'd love to hear a little bit about what the thinking was, or even the strategic thesis behind each of those acquisitions, and how they fit into kind of your broader growth strategy.
So we're constantly looking at where our customers are going. We're constantly looking at, what are the disease categories, where's the incidence and prevalence of disease, so that we can understand and predict how to better support our customers. So our strategy is to support our customers' growth in large and fast-growing clinical end markets, right? That's their strategy. We want to support their strategy. So we've developed manufacturing expertise in several clinical areas. So interventional, cardiovascular, airway management, and robotic surgery. And so when you look at the incidence and prevalence of those disease categories around the world, they're large and fast growing. And so that's why I've been making the investments in those areas. We've recently made investments into our capabilities to support transcatheter implants, delivery systems, and precision extrusion. All of those augmented our current interventional capabilities. If you look at minimally invasive procedures, they're growing around the world, and we want to be recognized by our customers as the go-to supplier partner to support their interventional needs. So I'll give you an example. Electrophysiology procedures using pulse field ablation are growing. Our customers are going to continue to invest in that category, and so we have engineering expertise to help our customers design and manufacture various delivery systems in this particular category. So we're going to continue to invest and grow our presence in those core categories, right? So again, airways management, robotic surgery, and transcatheter solutions.
Wonderful. Yeah, I really like the Medical Murray site acquisition. I think that adds some unique and probably earlier stage front end innovation kind of stage design capabilities for Aptyx. It's a really smart acquisition.
Well, and thank you. I agree that we've got an amazing team, the engineering talent at that location and at up in Taunton, Massachusetts, where we acquired Argos. The engineering talent's phenomenal, and our customers really appreciate that expertise, and so we can help our customers on the front end, right? Early stage design, help them really lock in the right spec for at scale manufacturing.
On the topic of acquisitions, how do you kind of balance that continued investment? I'm sure you're continuing to look at other potential investment opportunities or acquisitions. How do you kind of balance that with the near-term operational needs of the business and ensuring that there's reliability there for your customers?
It's an important topic. So, I would say first and foremost, the operational discipline and reliability every day is our priority, and it will always be our priority. I can't emphasize enough the importance that we place on our customers' success. If we fail our customers, I take it personally, and I'm constantly thinking about really our customers' well-being. Every day we've got to get product out the door. It's got to be on time, and it's got to be quality. It's got to meet the specs. I also believe that we at Aptyx need to have the best set of capabilities that benefit our customers, and so we're constantly discussing investments that we can make to support our customers, right? So, for example, do we need a new laser? Do we need a new CT scanner to really enhance the overall experience? So we've made many investments, and we're going to continue to make more. So a few examples. So we built these technology centers of excellence around the world. So I built a precision extrusion center of excellence in Boston, right? As I was saying a moment ago, top engineering talent in the country. Built a precision injection molding center of excellence in Torrington, Connecticut, where we have CT scanning, we've got automation, we've got clean rooms. Built a transcatheter center of excellence in Charlotte, North Carolina, as we were, just talking a moment ago. And I have a medical device center of excellence in Mexico to provide our customers with lower cost solutions for the North American market. However, the biggest investment is our focus on continuous improvement. And, we created Aptyx University, and we're continuing to invest in Aptyx University to build really continuous improvement, to build a continuous improvement organization really throughout the world. We're training green belts, yellow belts, black belts. It's really having a profound impact on our ability to produce for our customers.
And that kind of is a good segue into what we'll talk about next, which is really around the people and culture and leadership pieces at Aptyx. So, how do you create an intentional roadmap for culture, especially across multiple acquisitions, like you said, multiple sites around the world? How do you kind of embed accountability and make sure you're all speaking the same language, etc. I'd love to hear a little bit about your thoughts on that.
Well, this is another important area, and a lot of people have different views on culture. I think for me and for Aptyx, it's about behaviors, and so number one, we want to operate with a sense of urgency. Number two, focus on the customer, right? Just maniacally focus on the health and support to our customers. Meet your commitments to the customer and to each other. So if I tell you I'm going to do something, I need to do it. If I tell a colleague I'm going to do something, then do it, right? Always operate with a sense of integrity. And all of us here at Aptyx, we want to build a company that we're proud of and our customers love. So we communicate really what our goals and objectives are, right? We talked about our purpose. We're kind of creating the behaviors that we think will build an enduring company with our customers.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And culture is king, as they say. So glad to hear there's a lot of thought on that part of it. So if we think about where the kind of the medical device industry is heading, let's say in the next 3 to 5 years, where do you see the biggest shifts in kind of med tech manufacturing over the next 3 to 5 years? How is Aptyx positioning itself to capitalize on some of those shifts and trends?
I'd say this is a tricky one, right? It's the kind of the crystal ball question, and I think we've all the whole industry's been talking about this for a while, so I don't think I'm going to share anything that's really too revealing. I see more manufacturing in North America for many of the reasons that have been discussed here over the last kind of 18 months. But we're building the footprint, we're building the infrastructure, the expertise. Really to support our customers, so that's really kind of one trend that I see. It's manufacturing in the region for the region, and then I think it's clinical expertise, right? Building products, building devices that are going to really impact better clinical efficacy, better outcomes for the patient, and at lower pricing. We've got to continue to bring down healthcare costs. So we're building Aptyx to really support those trends.
I love that you're talking about the patient because sometimes, you have the OEMs, you have the CDMO space, and sometimes that space can feel a little bit arm's length away from the patient. And, we all have personal experiences with family or relatives, and it's important to remember that there is a patient at the end of the line here.
That's really why we're in this business, why we're in this industry. It's to save lives and make people healthier. And so the devices are in support of that, right? How do we again at a lower cost deliver a better patient experience so people can live longer and survive various traumas?
I think it's almost 4 years you've been with Aptyx now. Thinking back on all the things that have come into the story for Aptyx, and this may be an impossible question, but is there something that you would point to as the thing you're most proud of? And again, I appreciate picking out one thing may be hard, but
Yeah, definitely. So I'd like to. So there's two things I'm really proud of. One is the customers that we serve in each and every day. We're working with the top brands around the world, and I'm so proud that these customers have placed their confidence in us to build their critical products. So that's first. Second is all of my colleagues around the world. I get to work with incredibly talented and amazing people, and every day I'm learning from them, and it's great to see the work that we're producing, and again, the customers that we're serving.
wonderful, wonderful. The last question for you, Greg. Um, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, if you think about what is maybe one hard truth that CEOs of CDMOs maybe don't talk about that much in terms of how you scale a business. Is there anything that you would point to there?
Certainly, yes. And I don't mind saying this publicly. I guess first I'll say it's incredibly hard. It just requires a lot of work. It's hard work, and I'm all in on continuing to ensure that we're building an amazing company. Our customers depend on Aptyx. Our employees depend on our success, and so I just work personally incredibly hard each and every day to ensure that we're taking care of our customers and our employees.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Greg, let me know next time you're in Mexico at your site there. You can maybe swing down to Cancun and we can see each other in person again. But always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for all your thoughts today. And yeah, keep pushing forward with Optics. You're doing great things.
Well, thank you, Gordon. Again, it's an exciting time at Aptyx. We've got an open door policy. You're welcome to visit any of our facilities, and thank you very much for affording me this opportunity to kind of share with you and the market what we're doing. It's super fun, and I love what I do.